Joining us from Abuja studio is Dr. Julian Ojebo. He's the first Vice President of the Resident Doctors Association Nigeria, NARD, and he joins us from Abuja. Welcome to the program.
Much, Millicent.
Dr. Ojebo, your association met and said that you were giving the government time to fulfill the demands. Why did you take this decision? How much time? Because we're looking at demands that have been there for quite a long time. Why did you decide to give the government time?
Thank you very much once again. The National Executive Council met on Saturday, and after deliberations, they all decided that following the interventions of the Honorable Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, and so many other members in the House of Representatives, we did decided to sheath our swords on the interim. Now, we did that with the interests of Nigerians at heart, also looking at the rising rate of COVID-19 in our communities. We also did tell Nigerians that we are not strike mongers. We are not just after remunerations. We are after a better health care. We've been on the forefront crying and pleading that health should be moved from the concurrent list to the executive list, now to the exclusive list. If this is done, this recurring decimal of strike actions, we think, will be placed on hold. Now, you listen to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation when he did say that he never knew how pitiable the health system has been over time. And if you also watch the body languages of our governors, they've not been putting so much effort into the tertiary health institutions. Now, COVID-19 all over the world, the management for COVID-19 is from primary to tertiary health institutions. Now, in Nigeria, we don't have primary nor secondary health institutions. All the burden is moved to the tertiary health institutions. Now, when the state governors do not invest in the state tertiary health institutions, we have this level of decadence. Now, I'll give you an example. There's this high surge of coronavirus in Lagos. Lagos State still sits as the epicenter of COVID-19. What is the remuneration that our members in those states get? Less than 70% of the 2019 commerce. Now, if all of these states like Lagos, Abia, Gombe State, if they don't invest heavily in health, we'll have this recurring decimal where we have to go on industrial actions from time to time. But we're hoping and praying that we've given heed to the plea by the Speaker, by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, and we hope that in 4 weeks' time, we should be having some positive feedback from the federal and state governments.
Dr. Ojebo, is it a case of some of these states you've mentioned, state governments, that they don't want to, that they don't understand some of the healthcare challenges our systems are facing, or they actually can't afford it?
Over time, politicians and executive appointees of government have always resorted to seeking better health care abroad. But let me draw your attention to this fact that most of the Nigerians, doctors that they see abroad are mostly Nigerians. Now, if they for once would invest heavily in the health system, as we have it in Nigeria today, I don't think we're having these problems. Now, most of the reasons why we have brain drain is owing to the poor welfare system in Nigeria. Now, after COVID-19, most of these foreign nations will be calling from poor resource country to come over and help their health sectors. Nigeria is still going to have another bout of brain drain. Actually, I target brain gone, because in no distant time, most of these doctors will be moving abroad to get better welfare packages for themselves and their families. Now, doctors in Nigeria don't even have enough security. The case in study in Gusau, where one of our doctors was butchered in cold blood. In Kaduna, one of the doctor's wife was murdered. Now, if this recurring decimal is seen, most doctors have no other option but to seek greener pastures abroad. So we are pleading to the governors of this state, Lagos State, Gombe State, Abia State has its own salary arrears between 18 and 36 months. How do you want your doctors to be motivated to work? Now, there's no motivation to working. So we're pleading to these governors, please take care of your health system in your various states. Let there be improved welfare packages for our members. Now, when these are done, you see that the doctors will be motivated to work.
Some of the issues were also raised by your association, the Kaduna State situation, and also some of those that were told to leave work in Jos. Now, what have the state governments of those two states been saying?
At this very moment, the Kaduna State government has slashed salaries of our members by 25% for the month of for the last 2 months. And we've not gotten any positive feedback from the Kaduna State government. We're hoping that while the president of the association, Dr. Aliyu Sokumba, will be interfacing with the governors forum, where all the governors will be there, we're hoping that we'll have some positive feedback from the governor of Kaduna State. Now, for the disengaged members of the Jos University Teaching Hospital, all 26 doctors have been reinstated, and we're hoping that their salaries that were being owed in the period where they were illegally or illegitimately disengaged will be paid to them in no distant time.
Tell us about the release by the federal government, and this is the 4.5 million or so on the hazard and inducement allowances. Some people have also said that perhaps the resident doctors are under pressure, and this is why you suspended the strike. Because a lot of people are asking, with all the list of demands, have they actually been met?
The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors is not under any pressure, as it were, to call off the totally definite strike we embarked on. The National Executive Council did see that we have made our demands known. We are not inhuman to the plight of Nigerians. And we are hoping that with the 4-week extension that we have given to them, in which we've suspended our indefinite action, we're hoping that these demands will be met and we can have positive outcome when we reconvene in July 2020. Now, the issues of the 4.4 billion that was released, according to the Minister of Labour and the Minister for Information, these monies were released to all members, all healthcare workers in the federal health institutions. So far, we have about 15 feedback from 15 of our federal tertiary health institutions that they've received these monies. We're hoping that before the day unwinds, we should be getting up to the 31 that they said they've paid. And we're also appealing to them to, in good faith that we showed to them, to also make sure that the other centers also do get their remunerations. We are hoping and praying that this will motivate the healthcare system and healthcare workers in the various federal tertiary health institutions to go back to work. We are also appealing to the state governors to also give some form of inducement allowance in the same template as the federal government, so that the members, our members in the state tertiary health institutions, will also be motivated to go to work and fight the COVID-19.
We'd like to thank you, Dr. Julian Ojebo, the first Vice President of the Resident Doctors Association of Nigeria. Now, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.